QHHT, which is quantum healing hypnosis technique. Oh, I absolutely love it. This was developed by the late Dolores Cannon. She developed this particular method over, I think it took her almost 50 years. It was like 48 years. It's a beautiful technique. I do love it so much, along with the other modalities that I offer. This is definitely one of my favorites. It's a great way to really present who you are, present why you're here. Just a more detailed way of doing it, just going in deep below the human surface. Oh, wow. Yeah, today I wanted to come on here and kind of just talk about life and how it is and the struggles that we go through. Hi. I just lost my train of thought, of course. I just did a session on one of my friends, and it's quite amazing. The more I develop my technique of Reiki and really just find out who I really am and how divine I really am, what I'm tapping into is people's Akashic records, which is a beautiful message every time that I do Reiki for them or give them a hypnosis session. There's always this beautiful divine message that particular person is looking for, that I have no idea what they're really looking for, because I keep it pretty, as far as talking before the session, I don't want to know so much, because it can kind of almost manipulate the message, where I am still human and I'm going to maybe interpret something way off or way not aligned to exactly what the message was. So I like to keep my mind really clear and open and be very optimistic when receiving messages, knowing that they are meant for that exact moment, for that client, just really knowing that being in a human body just limits you and just really teaches you about manifestation and receiving and creating energy. We are creators. No matter how you look at that, we are creators. We create good and bad, and that is just what it is. We are on the planet of Earth, so it's polarity, universal law, polarity, planet of opposites, good and bad, black and white, up and down. I mean, there's no other way about it. And dissolving that emotion and that particular law, I suppose you should say, is being neutral, is releasing emotions that don't serve you. So as you move into the future and you mature and you grow, you're going to be releasing emotions that don't serve you any longer. Maybe something that happened when you were 15 or something that happened when you were 5. And those things carry on. And as you adjust into the body more and connect more to who you really are, you notice that. And you notice you don't need that emotion. But there's this weird sense that we need to know why we're here. We need to know more. Of course, we actually hold all of that information within us. As I am a Reiki practitioner, I do feel the cells, the memory, cellular structure actually talks to me. And it gives me messages, for that particular person. And it's beautiful. And what a way, because I don't know very many people around me that really channel that divine, beautiful light that we carry, the key. That's what I love about it. It's like the key, universal energy. And it's just It's really just learning to be okay in the moment, not having anything that is like, oh, I have to have the money. Oh, I have to have the love of my life. Oh, I have, do you know what I mean? Does that sound human trait? The ego. The ego wants all these things, right? Which they're beautiful, which it's wonderful if you can find someone you love. It's wonderful when you have the place you've always dreamed of or all the money you've always wanted. Those are beautiful things, but it's being okay in the now before you have those things, right? So then you get on this right path that guides you to those things, actually. But if you're not clear and optimistic and open and loving yourself in that moment before you have all these things, um, you you're just in this cycle. So you don't end up ever really getting these things. Then the years pass, then the days go by. And so that's my message today is really loving the moment you're in. Appreciate that you have a body. Appreciate that you're physically here on the planet, that you have the opportunity to create anything you want, good or bad. All the stuff that happens, bad or not, you're doing it in your life, right? I never wanted to hear that I was creating the bad for me. Of course, criticism, right? I never wanted to hear that. Or if you notice someone will get an attitude or really challenge you and you weren't expecting it. So it's those moments that you then have to realize, all right, something isn't right when that person criticizes me. I feel uneasy. I feel, all these different negative emotions. And I guess it's just really just being okay with them and not letting them drown you, not letting them take over. Um, and really just take over. And what it comes down to is your ego. We all have egos. There's multiple personalities in us. I mean, you guys know that. One second, you guys could be very pleasant to the store clerk, but get in the car and be outrageous to someone who may have cut you off because they're having a horrible day where they may have lost someone, may have broken up with someone. You don't know what people, as we go through life, you're in your moment. Guess what? Everyone else is in their moment. And it kind of does collide depending on the emotion and what's kind of going on. And it's not being outrageous with it, is being like a different way about it. It's like an easy way. And I know that sounds silly, but I'm just really letting you guys know that, yeah, it's easy. It's simple to do the right way, to go the right path. But the ego holds us back. It just does. It holds us back to also why we're here, to learn how to navigate through these emotions. That's the other thing. It's like, yes, we have an ego. The ego is part of the body. It just is. And there's always a soft side to everyone, regardless if they want to say they have a soft side or not. They may have lost that soft side somewhere in their life, that now here they are an adult and they can be really abrupt, really in your face, really challenging you. And you really almost have to think it because it brings the best out of you, because then you then learn what you do want and what you don't want. Yeah. And honestly, just loving yourself, just appreciating that you have a body, that's number one right there. You are able to release emotions that you never would be able to release. And I know basically the ones who listen to me, basically you're drawn to wanting a better life for yourself. Basic, what was I going to say? Just hooking you up. You have to hook you up. No one can hook you up, make you feel better, but you can. You make yourself feel better. You hook yourself up. And I know I've done several podcasts on eating, what we're eating and what emotion goes with what we're eating. I'm not going to say don't eat this, eat that, don't eat that, because, hey, you're human, you can eat whatever you want. That's another reason why we're here. It's just as if you were going to eat the low vibe energy food created by human beings who as well have low vibration, as they could be going through a struggle and the only job that they could get was something in the fast food industry or the out to eat industry, restaurant industry. And they're not really happy. They're going through struggles of their own and they're making your food not happy. Do you see what I mean? It's like when they're creating your plate that you ordered, whatever it is, fettuccine alfredo, they're cooking the chicken, they're making the noodles, the sauce. But what kind of emotions going into it? Because you could go to grandma's house or someone who has a grandma like that and and it's the same regular food, but it's made with love, so it tastes fabulous. It tastes so good that you could feel the love into that food. And that's exactly what I mean by the low energy. So someone who may be going through struggles, they're back there making your food and you're eating it. You're eating that emotion because as we're creators, we create energy. Everything is energy, regardless how you want to look at it. It is energy. And so when they're putting bad energy into your food, then you've had a stressful day. You've had a day. Someone yelled at you. Someone cut you off. Someone didn't open the door for you. And you thought, wow, really? Is this really going to happen today? Right? So you're already somewhat like uneasy already, but you're like, oh, I got to eat. I am super hungry. And here you are going to get that food. There's your emotion. So you've taken on the person who made your food's emotion and your own emotion. So that's sometimes why the food doesn't digest properly and gives us an unbalanced feeling, indigestion, stomach ache, a headache. We have, and go down the line, and then you're amped to go, oh, I don't feel good. I have a stomach ache. I need Pepto-Bismol. Versus, why do I have a stomach ache? What can't I stomach? What can't I digest in my life? Right? Not let's just go cover it up with some Pepto-Bismol or ibuprofen. It's really getting down to the root of it and not just covering it up, knowing that you're a divine being. And yes, our bodies are tough. We can eat anything we want the whole time. And some of us can't, and some of us can. Oh, jeez, making a mess. I did a session, and of course now, and after I do sessions, I always like to eat, but I felt very connected in the now, is why I wanted to give you guys a message today. And I haven't really done a podcast, since January, and here it is, April. It's funny, but as I'm growing, emotions are coming through me too as well. basically, is my point. Just learning to keep that aligned. You're always going to work on yourself your whole life. And if you're not, you may not stay in that body very long. That's another thing that I could put out there, is that you really need to be working through your emotions when they get presented. It's not like you have to go dig them up. It's like, no, when they get presented, don't just scoot them aside. Why do you feel uneasy? What's making you like down deep? It's not the person who cut you off. It goes down deep. It can even go into a parallel life, a past life. Um, Most likely, it is a human life you've lived. Your soul journeys from one body to the next. That is another reason why I like quantum healing hypnosis technique, because it teaches you that your soul is eternal and that it journeys to learn experiences. And you could be here to just see what it's like to be human. What if that was all you did? And so you traveled and you tasted all the food and you realized that the people who are happy and who are making sandwiches or something like that in a whole nother state or a whole nother country, and you traveled there and you ate it and you were like, wow, that is really good food. It's made with love. It's made with passion of caring about each part of what you were making. For instance, the chicken, the noodles, the sauce. Just using that as an analogy or an example, but it's really loving that you're doing that and you're creating a yummy dish. Um, and really find things like that. Start leading your life where it's divine and it feels good. We're creators of both, right? So why do we have to keep creating the dark and the uneasy and the negative, unless you need to learn that? Unless you need to learn peace, because that's where it's going to lead you down. Is peace within, is knowing that it's okay. Yeah, that person may be really upset, but that's not your problem, right? Um, so yeah, I do Reiki. I read Akashic records. If you ever feel that you need a session, you can go to happylioncenter.com and find me, Jennifer Martinez, on there, and book a session with me. As well, if you need to know anything about Dolores Cannon, you can go right to her link. I'll put it all on the website. um, what I really wanted to say is basically navigating through your emotions, navigating through life, and always choosing the next best thing for you. What is that? Remember, you're not trapped. Remember, you're your own boss. But you may have put yourself in a position that you feel like you're trapped. You're not your own boss. It's your body, it's your life. You're dreaming of this right now. You know, it's like dreams come true style. It's like you're dreaming of all of it. And sometimes we really get stuck in the negative. It's more entertaining, it's more dramatic. The human ego trait is dramatic. That is the emotion. So you can really play with it. If you ever feel like you've got this, and then all of a sudden something happens and it's negative. And you tell yourself that's not your thought. It's the ego. It's the negativity. It's the fear part of you. And did you just sit with it? What made you feel that way? Why do you feel that way? Release it. Maybe your hand over your heart and your other hand over your sacral is what just came to my mind. Those are your chakras. They're very important as we live in the 3D life. That's the body. That's the everyday life. Know that you have 7 chakras in your body. And they're energy centers from the head down to the base of the spine. And it's just really important to know that you are a mighty being, actually. You're all mighty beings, and you all are playing a role, regardless if it's the good side or the dark. You know, there's a light in all of us. And there's a light even in the dark. Even if we think there's no way there's light there. Yeah, there is. I always look at it as like it's faith. Faith presenting itself to know that this world is not just evil. You know, the beings on it and the creation of it. You know, because there's so much darkness and everyone's so unsure of things, and it's been manipulated and controlled, and just know that it is like a release of love. Of fear. Oh, we forgot to talk about 2 hours. One is free, but Blair, you have to leave before noon. So if Jen, you can be there at 9, that would work. Your thoughts? I would have to. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's just loving yourself. It's just doing what makes you happy. What makes you happy? Feel good. When it comes down to it. Knowing you're an amazing being and you're here on the planet. You can be light or you cannot be light. You can play on either side. Definitely. We're not judged when it comes to that because it's like they know what this planet represents. So really we just judge ourselves, and it's just knowing that that particular judgment is your ego. It doesn't know any different than to judge you. It doesn't know. It can't forgive. What is the forgiving part of you is the divine side, the light, the love, the compassion. And we all have it. So it's not being tied down to being like, no, I don't know that I have an ego, or I don't know that there's a negative side to me. It's like, no, you know, because there's days that you feel good and you're happy and you're doing great. And there's other days you're not. So that's really what I mean is like, it's more than just being human. I love it. I love like giving this message to you guys and just really just putting out into the universe greatness of knowing that humanity is evolving and bringing light to our planet. A lot of us are light workers and we just don't know it. And as we connect and as we open up and wake up to this multidimensional being that we really are, is that we can connect to the other side as well as be human. And that's what's amazing. That's what's a gift is right there. And if you're fearful of that, then you should see why. You know, what makes you scared of that? And then you have to ask your ego to almost step aside I don't know. Dang close. Um, I think what I love the most is that when you go down the right path, you really grow. I mean, I didn't even know what that involved. Like, what does that look like for me? What is that for me? I didn't know. I had no idea that there's this negative ego side inside of us. Really, I just thought that was just the way it was. I mean, and it is, and it isn't. It's really a funny thing. But we're going to channel. I channel. So you can go to our website, happylioncenter.com, and ask us any questions that you have off the top of your head. And there's three of us channeling, Blair and Janelle, and then, of course, Jennifer, which is me. um, and hang on a second. We've decided as our growth, it's like once you get to that point of awakening, and some of us need an actual session with QHHT or remote. We can do it remote as well. So through Zoom, which is so cool. I love it. It's just really neat to have that ability. It's a beautiful gift to be able to do this through remote, and to just really reach out into the world and send our love to everyone. So it feels good. It feels nice to be down the right path for me. And what does that look like for you? And that's what I want you to start to use your imagination for the good. Use your imagination as like a tool, as seeing good things for you, because abundance does not come in the form of money. It could be the form of anything good. Having the animals around you, we have our pets and we love them, and that's for a reason. They're our guardians. They come to us. So, and it's really just being okay with that, and then just being okay with or without, right? Because so many of us, we all are trying too hard, but what happens is so we say, oh, I just want this money, we just want money, 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 right? But what do we believe? What do we trust? Because what we believe and trust is, oh, I don't have it. Oh, it's a lack of. I don't have it. I don't have it, right? Because you trust and believe that more, because that's more realistic for you. And that really comes down to the ego. The ego can never see that abundance. It always says you don't have enough. And then it embeds the belief system. So it's like, check your belief system. What do you really believe? Do you believe yourself to have abundance of all sorts? Plenty of clothes, plenty of stuff, materialistic stuff. So it's really, what do you want in your life? And if you're okay with that, that's wonderful. That's beautiful. It's being okay and settled in those moments of, hey, I like shoes. Of course, I always like to use that as my analogy because it's a woman trait. We love our shoes, right? And it's really getting down to peace, not peace, maybe even being settled within. How do those shoes make you feel? How far does this stimulate? Is it just the surface? Is it just the moment of purchasing something, right? That's okay. Like, I want you to also be okay with even that. Great. You're allowed to be crazy with shoes. Whatever it is. That's the best part of being human. I feel like we're so hard on ourselves when we love something so much. For instance, if we want cars galore. Hey, hi. And it's like literally being okay with whatever it is in the moment of not. I am back. Yes, it's been so long. Kind of went through my own little journey of kind of just leaving myself out of almost all of my social media platforms to really just connect myself to my divine self and work on my ability to really read Akashic records. I love it. I didn't really realize that I held that within me, that gift. But I started to do Reiki and I started to get my clients downloads. And I was like, what is coming out? Why am I getting so much information? I just thought I was directing the energy. And really it was, I did my one friend and it was so beautiful. And I started to get these downloads. Um, yeah, and it kind of blew my mind. And so I did a hypnosis. My friend did one on me and we asked about it. And it was basically like, yeah, it was amazing. I was getting her, what was crazy is at first when I did Reiki, I was getting her past lives that she had fasted. And I was like, what the heck? I was like, oh no. I was like, you got, stabbed in the back. And now you're left out here in the desert to die. So she was like a Saudi, I don't know that it was like a Saudi Arabia, but it was like that atmosphere. So they had the whole garments on where you couldn't really see the face. And she was running away. Like I could see that whole life. She was escaping from this life of misery. And when they chased her down, and of course, a sword right through the back. And as she showed me that, they left, and she opened her, it was like this other part of her. She opened her like robe or whatever you want to say that was covering her. And she had a baby in there. And so she had a lot of past lives of losing babies and her child. So now in this life, she's very overprotective of her kids exploring. And of course, they're young 2-year-olds. So, of course, they want to go out into the world and explore and go, just go all over. And she was really having a deep seated issue with that. And it was really almost traumatizing her mind. And it was like to release it, we had to go in and really like do some healing energy work to her. And then as I didn't realize what I was even doing, which of course it was like all learning lesson in the last few months, um, as we all should be going through pretty cool journeys, as you go through life. But yeah, I went under hypnosis, and my friend who's a practitioner of the same technique, QHHT, she took me under and we got a whole bunch of information. And I felt, well, what came through was I was part of the Galactical Federation, not like my whole being. There's a fraction of me there and a fraction of me here. But what came through was like I was several entities combined. So it was like I was part of the hybrid grays, the hybrid, they had created other beings. So there's a lot of different grays out there. It's not your particular same gray being, the tall ones. There's all sorts of them, because they've created them. And also I felt a great connection to the Pleiades, and the Pleiades came to me. Yeah, see, yes, that's why we're connected. I love it. I love it. But yeah, I love it. It's really, really neat. And that's when I do the Akashic reading records, that's what I'm tapping into, is to see your other lives, the journey of the soul. So, yeah, you came to Earth to experience a human body, but also you've lived other lives in other solar systems. There's obviously more than just ours, and what got presented to me was several lives that I've experienced, and I've lived a lot of lives physically on this planet. So I came on the karmic wheel of coming back and coming back and coming back. So um, I felt very exhausted in this life, but then as we would go through these emotions, I was really pulling layers off. Yes, Andromedas. That is where my soul is from. I could not think of that name, Andromedas. That is a tongue twister, but that is where, and it was Andromedas Galaxy, and it showed me that I had been almost every universe that I could be at and every experience that I could experience. So my soul is extremely old. It also showed me that I was at the very beginning when planet Earth was being created, and we would bring the, oh, I know what it was. It wasn't even me. It was my friend Steph. She was part of bringing the water, so bringing the whales and the dolphins, and they had to get here somehow, and they came from the planet, a water planet, and they got brought here at the right time, at the right moment. um, let's see. Yes, we very well. Right. I love it. I love it. And I love that. What else was I going to say? Kind of lost my train of thought, but um, it's like infinity. And that's what's so neat. And I just love it. I love the fact that here we are in this life and we woke up to it and we then became aware of it. And then when you really want to know a doubt, like when you really want to know, it just immediately comes to you and through you. And then you realize, whoa, more than just a human. And that's what's really neat, I think. Um, and I've lived and died several crazy lives, of course. And so just releasing all that dense emotional baggage that I don't need anymore is what I've been working on in the last few months. Because as I go into the future, those things don't serve me anymore, and they were there, and I didn't realize it. Um, Give me 1 second. I'm going to take a phone call. Hello? Hi. Yeah. Oh, I'm good. How are you? Okay, bye-bye. Okay, geez, sorry. I'm also a senior caregiver. So I had to take that call. My one senior is 90. And so anytime he calls, I have to make sure he's good. Um, ooh, okay. Okay, I would love to join you guys. Oh, I think that's awesome. Let's see. So 8 Central. So then that would be a mountain. So I think that would be my 7 o'clock. Ooh, I'm so excited. I love doing things like this. I don't know how you could send me an invite, or should I just come on here? Yeah, that's really neat. It makes me really excited to do. So anyway, I've been going down that path, and okay, that's what I thought too. Yeah, mountain time. Yep. Okay, I will definitely get on here. Yeah, so it's neat. I love it. Anyway, I've like okay. I wrote. It's funny because I wrote for myself that I was a blend. That's really sweet. I'm a blend of a lot, but mostly Pleiades, Lyran, of course. I love that attachment, feline attachment. I love my cat. Um, of course. Anyway, that threw me off. Anyway, oh, great. Well, I am gonna go take care of my senior guy and hopefully get on and hang out with you guys. I think that'll be so much fun to do a podcast together. Um, and yeah, if you want to email me or whatever the topic is, I just love it. There's my email, or I'm not sure how you want to connect. I could try to get on here and let me see. I follow you now. Perfect. Okay. Yay. I'm so excited. Hmm. Oh, that is awesome. Actually, that is so funny you said that because the last couple of weeks, um, so I'm also in a group and and it's just so funny. So I have one person who really loves them and they do it all the time, microdosing, and I haven't, and they loved it. They love it. They do it on a regular basis. And so the other half of my group doesn't like it. They think it brings on dark entities and whatever. And me, I'm like this open. I've always been like that. I'm just open. I'm very optimistic. Yeah, it's just the type of person I am. But it's interesting that. No, it's just interesting. And then one of my best friends, she just was like, "Hey, I just got some." Yeah. And so I need, and she was just talking about microdosing. Like, she's like, I need a microdose, but I don't know. And so maybe even that's something that if she can listen to this podcast, it'd be awesome. After we do it, I think that'd be great. So I know not as much. I know there's a lot of controversy around just any of it. Of course, you're going to get people who are going to be like, what? That's not right. But that's their own, that was what I was talking about earlier, your belief system. Um, yeah, I've never seen anything bad about it. I actually just watched a documentary where they say that you should do it because it opens up that part of your brain and really just hooks you up. But, I think there's just some people who just have their own issues, period. But anyway, great. Oh my gosh, how fun. Great. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And I cannot wait for this evening. How exciting. So, yeah, take care and lots of love.